am so thrilled to be here this afternoon and talk to you all, and thank you so much for coming and braving the not-so-bad weather. My talk today will look at how we take the innovative research that we do here at the university as a community and make sure that it's getting to the people who need to hear it. So those connections. I have a lot to share, and I'm very enthusiastic. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Who cares? When we talk about citizen science, you always have to start with the Christmas bird count. Raise your hand if you've done a Christmas bird count. Oh, yeah! Okay, the Christmas bird count is a very long-running and successful citizen science program. And you can see here that the data are used to keep track of trends and monitoring of, you go out during these dates, December 14, January 5, and you listen, and you report the bird calls that you hear. Since 1901. And if you don't think that birders are enthusiastic, they got a record number of observations this year from over 73,000 people. But this isn't even the beginning of citizen science. When I was putting together this talk, I found information from the late 1800s where they asked for lighthouse keepers to keep track of birds that smacked into lighthouses and died. Half of the people wrote back and said, well, here are the birds that died, and here's how many of them. And the other half wrote back and said, this is insane. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard, right? So it gets to the importance of volunteers understanding why they're collecting the information and how that science is valuable. So maybe you don't like birds. Maybe you're more of an amphibian type person. So we've got a Frog Watch USA chapter here on campus to the Auburn University History Museum, or the Natural History Museum. All right, so if any of you like frogs and or toads, see if you can name this. Shout it out. I knew you would know. Spring peeper. You can go to a training and learn more about how to identify frog calls and toad calls. And then you can go sit next to your favorite wetland with your favorite people and record that. And again, have that used for trend monitoring information. Who's out there, who's calling, who's not out there, and who's not calling. And if you don't have friends, you should just go sit next to a wetland anyway, right? That's good, all right. So maybe you're not into critters at all. There's also opportunities to get involved with precipitation. Maybe you like rain, you want to know how much snow has fallen and where it's fallen and when. There's a continental network of precipitation monitors, this CoCoRaHS group. How about an international event for people who can't wait to see how transparent their water bodies are? It's called the Great Secchi Dip-In. Every year, people from around the globe bond on dropping a little disc that's black and white to see how far will that disc go before I can't see it anymore, and then report out. Again, creating this citizen science connection. More eyes, more ears, more opportunity to learn. And lastly, maybe you don't care at all about critters and you don't want to be outside, but you're a techie. Well, you can get part of a crowdsourcing citizen science eye-wire that's mapping the brain and synapses. There's all sorts of opportunity, but for me, I really like to think about not everybody's going to run out and do the Great Secchi Dip-In or go sit next to a wetland, but you should. Some folks just want information provided to them, kind of like a Google, quick info. Others who are more excited and as they learn more will move into this stakeholder action mode where they really want to be involved and they want to learn from you what's important, what's going on with the world around them. Maybe they want to know about nanocellulose. Well, you know what? Get those folks excited and get them involved. This is part of my job with Extension. I'm the water resource specialist, so I have the opportunity to work with people who are exceptionally motivated and care a great deal about the world around them. They want to get their fingernails dirty, their shoes wet, and they want to see what's happening. They build understanding by being outside and getting connected. And for me, that's a big part of citizen science. Science isn't intimidating. Science is the world around us. It's how it works. It's the world inside of us. It's how our brain synapses work. But connecting people to that so that they feel like science is accessible and interesting is one of my favorite things. Then we start building support and ownership, and people want to be part of projects. All right, so it doesn't have to be building a rocket ship to Mars. I mean, we could just go pick up trash. In fact, on the way over here, I picked up a piece of trash, and I want each and every one of you, on your way home or the next time you go to the grocery store, to pick up that bag that's rolling across the parking lot, or whoever's receipt got left. That ends up in our streams and in our rivers. And I'm going to tell you more about that connection. Hey, we have events where we talk to people about the science of invasive plants and why it's important to remove them to build healthy ecosystems. And then after we remove those invasive plants, we put in native plants so that we build strong, vibrant ecosystems, especially along our waterways, with those deep roots, right, Francis, that hold stream banks in place and build habitat for those birds and frogs that we're all going to go listen to later. All right, now we're getting down to the good part, monitoring water quality. So again, I told you I'm the Extension Water Resource Specialist, so I really want people to be excited about how healthy their streams are. Are we doing a good job with our lakes? So here's what I want you to know. A lot of people don't recognize that the biggest threat to water quality today is polluted stormwater runoff. When it rains and that stormwater washes across landscapes, it picks up pollutants. So these two jars that you see, I've told this picture in class. The clear jar is the water we started out with. My colleague, Dr. Nappenberger, and I were trying to wash a parking lot to see how much pollutants we could get for a project. After just a ½ inch of washing a parking lot on Auburn's campus, that black water jug is what we got. And he said, this is the crap that goes to our creeks. So there's a real connection between being outside and understanding that that trash you pick up, the oil and gas that's leaking from your car, the brake tire dust, cigarette butts, it's not going into a giant cleansing machine. It is going into our storm drains and down into our streams. Hey, you know what? Even gross stuff, like untreated animal waste, pet waste, sanitary sewer overflows. Now, let me be very clear that streams should not look like this when it rains. And we're going to talk again that connection between understanding that highly turbid streams are bad for water quality. So we don't like that, right? No. All right, so what do? We have a phenomenal program housed here on campus that is nationally and internationally renowned. Alabama Water Watch, a citizen science program that takes science to people. You can get trained to do dissolved oxygen. I can teach you right now how to do pH. And if you want to know more about the bacteria plates, we got a workshop that we can get you to. This is helping people understand the trends and the monitoring. What is happening with our lakes and rivers? Look how happy these students are and these people are. They're holding critters that they found under rocks. Guess what? If the streams are red, those critters aren't going to be there. So here's our science connection. Turbid water smothers streams and makes it inhospitable for these critters. They're also called aquatic macroinvertebrates. That tells us the health of the stream, and you've never seen an 8-year-old or an 88-year-old twinkle more than when they dig in leaves and they find this. So maybe that doesn't resonate with everyone, but children of all ages talk about protecting drinking water, protecting those streams for recreation, for biodiversity, for use for their kids and their kids' grandkids. All right, so what I hope to happen is that by connecting people and making science accessible, helping them understand how we put all that together, that we take that next leap to what do I do? So now that I know my stream isn't healthy, or my stream is great, I want to keep it that way. Well, we can do practices all across the landscape, ag, forestry. These are homeowner practices. In fact, this is a bioretention cell. That's a rain garden. Do you remember that jug of black nasty water? This catches that first flush of stormwater, allows it to soak in, spread out, and then transform it into less pollutant forms. We can put this in our homes, but we got to understand what we're after and why it's important so we get that behavior change. So I'm going to finish up with this quick case study of some 6th graders in Phoenix City. We had a grant from Department of Environmental Management to work on Mill Creek, which is over in Phoenix City. We worked with 6th graders to design a rain garden, what we just saw. So they put together the plant list, they measured out the impervious surface area, we sketched it out, the city of Phoenix City built it, and then we worked with a group of children who had not done very well in math and science. In fact, they were in a summertime boot camp to learn how to study and how to apply math and science. Well, we took them out with Alabama Water Watch gear, and we did science with dissolved oxygen. We taught them pH. We taught them how to look for macroinvertebrates. And then they culminated and they planted that rain garden. And one of them commented, "God, if I had known science was this interesting, I probably wouldn't have failed it." So we made that connection, and it was like the best day ever. Maybe that one child will go on and build a rocket ship to Mars. I don't know. But what I do know is I love to talk about the importance of people understanding science and getting excited and not being intimidated. and I was standing on this rock talking about dissolved oxygen and macroinvertebrate habitat. Do you see how excited they are? Do you know why they're excited? There's a snake. They could have cared less. I could have said blue sky, purple, yellow. There's a snake. The snake's name is Reese Slitherspoon. She's out at the Arboretum. Her friend is Justin Timbersnake. Go see them. Organ beetles will introduce you to all their critters. But this is exciting to me, so I just want to end and say, I appreciate the chance to talk to you all, and I said I was going to do this in class. This is my friend Carrie Bentley, a longtime citizen science monitor on Magnolia River, who is turning 99 on Thursday. He's awesome. I called him this morning and I said, are you really turning 99? He said, yes. So here's someone who has dedicated his retired part of his life, which has been like 40 years, to protecting water. And even though he's moved off the Magnolia River, he cares deeply about it. So thanks for your time.